What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we've got another Destiny 2 video rounding up a bunch of cool and interesting things that you might have missed going through all the trailers and gameplay online. So the first thing we're going to be discussing is Iron Banner in Destiny 2. So far, Bungie hasn't said anything about it. Technically, we know nothing because they've never even said the word so far. But when I was going through the gameplay trailer, I noticed this hunter right here is actually wearing a full set of Iron Banner gear, as you can see right here, which confirms the monthly event will be returning in Destiny 2. So the Iron Banner logos aren't that visible in the normal trailer that you'll see on YouTube. It's quite low resolution, which I don't think many people notice this, but I've actually got the high resolution press version of the trailer, and here you can clearly see the giant Iron Banner symbol on his chest, and also the trees and the wolves on his gauntlets and boots. So it's very clear to see this is Iron Banner gear, and even the tree design similar to the mantle of Gelion is on his cloak, which is pretty cool too. And he performs this really cool sword swipe in slow motion, just looks so cool. And as I said in yesterday's video, it seems like swords are really getting fleshed out with cool animations. This sword also does void damage. It seems a bit like a katana with its design, but something I also thought of is that what if this is an Iron Banner sword, which would be really cool. Of course, that's just my speculation, but finally, we might get an Iron Banner sword as a full set, which would be definitely very awesome. Now, I'm just happy this gear set actually looks really cool for once. I was super disappointed with the Rise of Iron sets, especially for the Hunter. It was just this brown, rusty set, looked like a sort of farmer in these brown rags. I absolutely hate that set, but thankfully, this Hunter looks really cool in my opinion. And let me know your thoughts down below, but to me, this looks a bit like a samurai style, or like a Mongolian warrior. I'm not really too sure, but even more so with the katana or samurai sword. We've had like knights and medieval armor themes for the past Iron Banners, but I feel like this time around the theme might be samurais, especially with that royal look to it with the whole gold and red. I wouldn't be surprised if the Titan helmet has that proper samurai helmet with the big horns in it. But regardless, I'm really happy with this gear set for the Hunter, especially the helmet. And the most important thing is the fact that Iron Banner will be returning. I mean, I'm not surprised because Iron Banner's been around since literally the beta of Destiny 1 before its launch 3 years ago. So I'd expect a similar format, hopefully some revamps as well to keep things fresh. And also 4v4 is going to be quite interesting too. I also wonder who the vendor is going to be, like Saladin or Ephrodite still, if they're going to come to our social space. These are of course answers that I'm sure Bungie will tell us later down the line, but so far at least we know that Iron Banner will be returning. So next up, we want to go through some really cool footage that Game Informer uploaded, but they've got some sort of exclusive look at some of the armor sets and weapons and abilities and some first-person shots of the new subclasses. So a lot of brand new footage we've never seen before that shows off quite a lot of cool stuff that's really interesting. So firstly, we get a first-person look at the Sentinel subclass. Nothing too groundbreaking here. We can see the Sentinel has the melee similar to Disintegrate, the Void subclass on Defender. Also, it's got the big shield that's across all three subclasses, of course. Now, the Arc Strider, you can see the Skip Grenade is going to be returning, which is funny to see. So that is one of the grenades available to the Arc Strider. His melee icon seems to be something brand new, nothing we've seen so far in Destiny. So it definitely isn't the Blink Strike from the Blade Dancer. So it appears the Arc Strider is getting some kind of new melee ability. What it is, we'll have to wait to find out. And then it also, of course, has the Shade Step, which again is across all three subclasses. No matter what you use, every Hunter subclass is going to get Shade Step. So we can also see exactly how strong a Sentinel Shield is, the new Titan Super, and what kind of damage it can take. So the answer is actually 2 Golden Gun shots. It doesn't survive the third one, but as you can see, it tanks 2 of them pretty easily, and the third one, it kills him. And then, of course, he's got the new Golden Gun in the top half, which gives you 6 Golden Gun shots, and that's how he has enough ammo to finish off the 2 other teammates next to him. But pretty interesting to see, that is how much damage a Sentinel Shield can actually take up close. But it's not bad. I mean, 2 Golden Gun shots is actually a ton of damage, so it's quite impressive, and definitely in PvE, it will make quite a difference. And then in Crucible, you can use it pretty similar to a sword, just menace towards enemies and take a bunch of damage and then go melee them. And it's also appearing to have a pretty big radius, so teammates can stand right behind you and also tank damage. So a bit like the Relic in Vault of Glass. So there's a pretty good look at the Sentinel and what he can do, how much damage he can take, and how it can actually work in the Crucible. So talking more about that Golden Gun, you may have already noticed how much of a damage reduction it's actually caught from Destiny 1, and essentially now it's been nerfed from no longer being that one-shot, just sniper laser beam that can just nuke anything in one shot from any range. In the top path, you can of course now have 6 shots, but they are much weaker. So at this range, you can see in the Crucible, I survived a Golden Gun shot. I didn't notice it at the time, but I wasn't even full health, which is crazy. And I was just looking at the footage and noticed how much I survived a Golden Gun and barely survived with no health. So it was pretty far away, to be fair. But now the Golden Gun, you can't just snipe people, which I guess is fair seeing as you do have 6 of them. But let me know what you think of the drastic change and reduction of the Golden Gun. Definitely a pretty huge change. So looking through some more of the footage, we can also see what looks like a gold and silver shader on the armor sets we've seen before, but now they look really cool with this shader applied that definitely transforms them, and especially the hunter wearing that kind of normal Vanguard set, which we've seen before and normally looks pretty ordinary, but now it looks a lot better. So I definitely want to get my hands on whatever the shader turns out to be. But the interesting thing is how it ties into the weapons, because normally these are Vanguard weapons, so they're orange and blue, but now they're gold and black in some of these clips. So I'm not sure if there's a mistake with how the clips were edited, but it seems in this clip you can see the hunter sliding with that blue and orange Vanguard shotgun, but in first person you can see him doing the same thing, but this time it's gold and black. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but it seems like maybe you can match the same color on your weapons as a shader. I mean, these are definitely Vanguard weapons with those V logos we used to, but they do seem to match that gold and black theme on the shader, so it's pretty strange. Maybe the shaders can affect some weapons now and you can make them mix and match, but something pretty interesting that I want to point out. Now there's also a couple of really interesting faction sets of gear. This Titan in the back does look like he might belong to an Iron Banner set with the whole night theme, but it actually does seem to be New Monarchy, as you can see by the logo on his chest piece. Very small, there is a New Monarchy logo there. So it seems like a bit of a step up from the faction armor, which is normally just really ordinary Vanguard gear, just reskinned to be red or whatever color the faction is. But it's looking like factions might have these really cool kind of elite sets of gear that are very unique and aren't just standard vendor gear with different colors. And also this Warlock's got some pretty cool looking robes with this really intricate design that almost looks exotic, but again it's New Monarchy, as you can see by the back of this clip. So a couple of examples of faction armor that actually looks pretty cool for once and isn't just very ordinary like I've normally seen in the tower. And now finally there's this pretty funny clip which I want to add on the end here, and this is of the new Striker Titan running furiously away from a Dawnblade, just lobbing flames at him. It's a pretty cool clip because it shows just how fast a Striker can run. Reminds me of Sonic, the way he just speeds along, he's got a little blue trail. But it goes to show that you can simply use a Striker to run away if you want, maybe from a raid boss or a PvE enemy, or even a Dawnblade like this, you might want to pop it, simply so you can sprint to the other side of the map and get away. And also you notice the Dawnblade, how long you can stay in the air for, which is basically the entire duration of the super, and also that the flames do have a good bit of drop off to them. They aren't just like hammers that you can lob across the map. I'll always remember this clip where I discovered myself just how fast the actual flames do drop off. If the target is a bit far away, you do have to judge where it's going to land. So there you go, that has been a roundup of a bunch of interesting things I spotted from the Destiny 2 gameplay. I'll put a link in the description to the Game Informer video breaking down the footage. As always, if you enjoyed the video, a like rating would be awesome. Of course, subscribe for a bunch more Destiny 2 videos right here on the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.